Hey, so in this video I'm gonna show you how to scrape dynamic content websites. So for this first part I'm just gonna do this one. It's gonna automatically close the modal and then click to show all photos, then scroll all the way to the bottom and then close this part, and then in the end you'll have all the links for all the images that are lazy loaded. So yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing we can do is just open a terminal here, and I'm gonna go to my desktop and just create a new folder, scraping websites. Then I'm gonna cd the folder, and inside here I can run npm init dash y to start then I'm gonna select the folder, and yeah, here it is. And yeah, then we install Puppeteer. So let's wait a little. Yeah, it's installed. So then I can create a file, let's say index.js, and then I can import Puppeteer from Puppeteer, and then do some code. I can maybe call, well, I guess you can do this everything inside of a function, right? So export function run. Actually, we don't need export right now, so just function run, and then here at the end I can say run, and I can make the function async, so it accepts await keyword here when I need to use it, right? So yeah, so to start Puppeteer I can do const browser equals await Puppeteer dot launch, and then there's some parameters here. I think executable path, right? So this is the path to the instance of a browser. I like to use Chrome with Puppeteer. So to put this path, I can create an environment file here with some variable called browser path. So here I can put the path to my browser. It will be different on Windows and Mac. On Windows I think you can just check the shortcuts for Chromium. On Mac I just googled it to find the default path. So this is it for me. So yeah, you can do process.env the name of the variable, which is browser path. Yeah, so that's the executable path, and then there's also a parameter called headless. Which you can set to true or false. So the headless means if a browser is headless, it means it's gonna execute and not show any interface. So this is good for when you're running the code on production, because you don't need to show anything. But if you want to test, you just set headless to false so you can see what's actually happening. So yeah, so after you create the browser, you can do const page equals await browser dot new page, and also a cool thing you can also add, it's pretty useful. You can set this event here, console, then message, and then console.log page log, and then the message.text. You can do this because it's an easy way to debug. You just get any messages when you're running. You get the messages here in the console, so that's pretty useful. And then after you do this, you can just call await page dot go to URL. So the next thing you need to do is select the URL of the page you want to scrape. I'm gonna select this page here, which is Airbnb page, which is nice because it has a bunch of dynamic elements. For example, there's this show all photos button here. If you click it, it opens a dynamic thing with lazy loaded images. So these images you will need to scroll the page to get all of them if you want to scrape. So that's an interesting feature we can code. And also here you have this slider here that you may need if the photos are lazy loaded. You may need to scroll to this to get all the information, right? And then also you have this component here, which if you want to scrape, you gotta open a modal, and then actually this one you don't need to scrape because they are loaded right away, but you do need to click the button and then go here and get all the names and the icons and everything, right, if you want to scrape. So that's what we'll be doing. And yeah, so I can just start by pasting the URL to that page here and just running node index.js. Oh, actually you cannot use import statement outside the module, right? So this is not a module, so an easy fix for this for now is just Puppeteer. You just use require, right? Because require, it doesn't have to be a module. So yeah, so let's run it. Yeah, open the page. As you can see, the first thing that shows up is this modal here. It shows up sometimes and sometimes not. So you have to check if a modal is present. The first thing is to just close it. So that's gonna be our first step. So in order to close this modal, you can go here to the developer tools and you go to elements, and then you do something that you're gonna do a lot to scrape pages. So that is, you use this option here to select the elements, and you click it, and then you see, okay, how can I make a selector to select this thing here. So this is a button, right, with an area label with the value of close. So we can check if this is enough to identify the button. If there's more buttons on the page, you have to probably be more specific, but let's try this selector here, button area label equals close, right? So yeah, I think there's only one button, as you can see, 1 of 1. So there's only one button, so that's good for us. We can just use this selector here as it's a JavaScript selector, right? It's the same that Puppeteer uses. So I can just go back to the code and I can after I go to the page, I can close modal if it is visible. So yeah, so I can do a try catch here. Try catch, error, and then I can do const close modal button equals await page dot wait for selector, which is the JavaScript selector that we just found. and then we paste it here, right? So button area label close. So yeah, so because this page shows up sometimes and sometimes not, I think this is dependent on if you have visited the page and did some stuff there. Then it saves some state, right, and then it doesn't show the model anymore. So if you just leave this selector here, it will wait 30 seconds, it will not find, and then it will crash the application, right? So that's why I put the try catch here, so we can avoid the situation. So in order to avoid the situation, you have to use another property here called timeout. So timeout, the default is 30,000 milliseconds, which is 30 seconds, but we don't need that much. So we only need 5 seconds, right? Which is 5,000 milliseconds. And then we can say console log. If it works, then just close button found. And if it doesn't, you can just say okay, console log, close button not found within 5 seconds. So in this case, because it reached the catch clause, it will not crash the application. It will just say okay, close button not found, and then just move on, right? So that's it for the modal. End of close modal code, and then we can just run it. Node index.js. Then let's see what happens. Yeah, open the modal. I forgot the click, sorry. Yeah, I just found the selector, but I still need to click it, of course. So here, after I find the button, I just call await close modal button. I can use optional chaining here, this means that if you find the button, click it. If not, then you just don't do anything, right? Yeah. Then let's try again. Yeah, close the modal, right? So we're past that. Then we just next step. Next step, we can scrape the images. So I would need to click this button here and then scroll all the way down, because these images, they don't show up all at the same time, right? So now let's try to get the images. So first thing we need is a handle to this button here. So we can again inspect the button, and yeah, it's always good to try to find something very specific, because there can be multiple buttons on the page. Like if you just do this button, then as you can see there's 135 buttons. I saw that there's an SVG as a child of the button. Yeah, so this is probably enough. So this symbol means that it's a direct child of the button. There's an SVG, right? So I want to select the button which has an SVG as a direct child. You can also do it like this, but this if you do it like this, it gets any buttons that has an SVG down the hierarchy from the button in any position, right? So there can be a button, then a div, then another div, and then an SVG. It will select. So that's why it's a lot more results. For example, here you have SVG, a div, another div, and then the button, right? So if you do this, it's a direct child only. So button and then SVG right below it. So yeah, that's probably enough. If you want to be more safe than that, because at some point the page may change and there may be another button with a SVG that's a direct child, so it will break your code. So to be completely safer that this code will work and not break, you can select, for example, the SVG path, the property, right? So you can do path, and then you can specify the D property like this. I think you need double quotes. Yeah, so let me just scroll here and put double quotes here, and then yeah, this will work. So let's just use this instead. And yeah, so let's go here, and first thing you need to do after you close the modal is just well, I'll create a selector for the button, so I just call it button selector, and I'll put that path here with single quotes, because I already used double quotes inside, right? The path. It's also good to have some sort of function to wait a few seconds. So one easy way that we can do it is just we can create a function called sleep, and then, well, it has to be async, because you're gonna need to await, and you just do a time set timeout, right? Set timeout for an amount of seconds. For example, could be 3 seconds or 5 seconds. I'll just call it time, and then you can return a new promise. So promise receives this parameter resolve and rejects, but we only need resolve for this, and then we can call set timeout, and after the time passes we can just say resolve, and I think we need a parameter here, just put true. So yeah, this is an easy way to have a function to wait, right? So you can just call like here await sleep 5000, then this is gonna wait 5 seconds, right? We can call it sleep ms, it's probably better. Yeah. Okay, so now we can just grab the handle for the button, wait for selector, button selector, cons button handle, and then we can just await button handle, dot click, and it should work, I think. Let's see. Yeah, automatically close the window, the modal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I think found the close button, and then here. Yeah, I think it didn't click the button. This happens sometimes. So sometimes you need more than one click. You can just put like 2 or 3 here. Then you have to try clicking 3 times. But sometimes it just won't work for whatever reason. But there's a workaround for it. I'll show you next. Yeah, so I don't think this is working. So one thing you can do when you reach this is you can use JavaScript code inside the handle that you just found. So let's try that. Okay, so in case the click doesn't work, you can do the JavaScript's function. So Puppeteer has a function called eval. So with this function you can just call await page dot this symbol eval, and then you pass the selector, and then an arrow function. Um, so this element is the same as you doing this wait for selector, except now you get the handle from the element here, and then you can just call this is normal JavaScript code as you would run in the browser. So you just can do element dot parent elements because you are in the path, right? So then the parent of the path is the SVG, and then the parent of the SVG is the button, right? So yeah, so you just do await button. You don't even need a wait. You can just button dot click. And yeah, so this is let's call it something like JavaScript click. So async function JavaScript click. You can pass the page here, and you just do this selector. Yeah, so this will be a JavaScript click we can use, but as you saw, I just deleted the div here because I was behind the scenes kind of debugging this problem. We actually don't have a problem with the not being able to click. The problem is actually because I selected the wrong selector here. So one way you can check if your selector is correct is you just go to the page and yeah, paste the selector here, and as you can see, it's not finding anything because I think I picked the wrong selector. I think I picked this one here, right? So this so I did button dot as child as SVG, and then child path with a D equals to this, and this is the button actually, this one here that I was selecting. So this is not the one I want. So yeah, so I just need to use the correct button. So I'll just click here and I'll just pick the D, and I see that the parent of the path is a SVG, and then a div, and then a button, right? So this should be enough to get the correct button. So I just go to the code here and I'll paste. Yeah, I think I had already pasted. So yeah, div here, and this should be enough. I'll just reduce this 1 second, and should work now. Let's see. Node index.js. Yeah, so close. Button handle is not. I think I commented it out, right? The handle. Yeah. So now let's see. Yeah. So now it clicked the button automatically. So that's good. Let's just close this. So I just want to show real quick, because it happens somewhat often that the click does not work. So I want to actually show that the JavaScript click also works. So I'll just use this function instead. I'll call the function here instead of the click. I'll just do await, and then I'll pass the page, and I'll pass the button selector. We won't need this for now. Then I see if it also works. Yeah, it works nicely. So yeah, this should not be a problem. So these there's a bunch of logs here that's you may think are not useful, and they are not. But so you could probably comment what I put here at the beginning, but this thing here is useful to debug these functions, right? So you often, when scraping websites, you use these functions because they're very useful. Uh, yeah, so how you can debug these functions is like you cannot, if I'll just show, if I just put a console log here and I say, hey, I just clicked, and now let's remove this log here, and then let's just run. Yeah, just finish running. uh, so yeah, here I just clicked, you can see that it did not print anything, right? So this is why you need this thing here. uh, so a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times you just need to use the JavaScript click or other JavaScript functions to work better with the page, right? So yeah, I'll just show how it shows up now if I just add that event. Yeah, I got here, and let's try to find it. I think it's hey. So you can see here I just click, or I can just search for our page log. Yeah, page log actually has a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so that's how you get the logs for this function. And yeah, now that we got here, we need to scrape the images, right? So let's do that next. To get these images here, first let's inspect to see if we can find a selector for them. Yeah, so there's image, right? So this is the image object that I just clicked. So yeah, we want actually this src value here, right, with the link of the image to scrape. So yeah, we can try to make a selector. So let's see. So image tag, right? So img img, and then let's see if there's something that can specify a bit more. There's this data original URI, right? We can use just the tag, we don't need to use the value. So we can do data original URI. So yeah, let's see if that's good enough. It's getting some other objects. I don't know what this object is. It's probably an image that's not on the list, so you probably need to specify a bit more because we just want the images, right? So let's say let's see how we can specify it a bit more. Yeah, there's a decoding tag. I think you can use that as well. Decoding. Yeah, now we're down to 20, so that's probably good. Let's just check if that's all the images. I'm a little bit running out of space here, but let's try to see if there's 20 images. Yeah, it's getting the images at the top. I actually don't want the images at the top. I just want this list of images here. So let's probably try to get a parent for this section here. So yeah, that's easy enough. So there's a photo viewer section, which is this part here, right? If I hover it, if I hover over photo viewer, it just this part here. So yeah, so we can probably do div with data test ID equals photo viewer section, right? So photo viewer section, then close the tag. That should be good enough, I think. Let me just something's wrong here. It's a div with the data. Also, yeah, test ID has no hyphen here. So yeah, that's only 10 images. Let's see if those are the images that I want. Yeah, it seems to be, right? It's only selecting the images on the list. But as you can see, the list is growing. If you take a look here at the mouse, there's 10 or 15, but as I scroll down, then becomes 17, then I keep going, and 18. This is because these images are lazy loaded, right? So as I scroll down, there's more images, 29 now. So yeah, so that's the reason why you need to have an auto scroll feature to scroll all the way down here. Scroll, and when you finish scrolling, then you have all the images, right? Which are 51 actually. So yeah, so you need to scroll first to the end of the page to load everything, and then after that you can grab the images to then scrape the URLs, right? So let's do the scrolling. So in order to get the handle of the scroll bars to automatically scroll, we first need to find which element this scroll bar is in, right? So one way to do that via the code is to just find just take a look here, the computer styles for the whole page, and then you can check for the overflow y property, right? Overflow sorry, dash y. So overflow here is visible, so I'm not sure what it is. So here is hidden. At some place here you've got the scroll bars set to auto, right? Like this, auto. So when it's overflow auto, it means we found the scroll bar we want. So we can find it via code by just doing this, which I'm gonna do right now. So first let me just clear these warnings first, because they're a little bit too much. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, so first you can find all elements on the page by doing this: documents query selector all with the stars sign character, and then sorry, I forgot the equals. So all elements it's a nodes list. You can convert this into an array just doing this array dot from. So yeah, so now you can see all the elements, and yeah, then you can loop through the elements by doing like a for each, for example, and then an arrow function inside here. Let's call the element L, and then you can do here, you look for the property. So const over, let me just, yeah, overflow y equals window dot, so get computed style, which is the one that checks those computed styles. So overflow y, and then if overflow y equals scroll or overflow y equals auto, these are the cases in which you want to see a scroll bar, right? So then you can yeah, let me close here, and then sorry, and then you can do if l.scroll height is greater than l.client height. Yeah, so this is to check that the element actually has more content. So this scroll height is the height of the content, the actual content of the elements, and the client height is the visible area, right? So if the content is bigger than the visible area, then there will be content to scroll, right? So you need to have a overflow while of scroll or auto, and also you need to have enough content to scroll. This way you will find all the scroll bars, right? All the parts of your site that needs that have actually a scroll bar. So yeah, so in this case you found elements with scroll bar, and then I can just put all of these in a like a results array, like scrollable elements equals empty array, and then I paste the code that I just removed, and then here I can do scrollable elements dot push L. Then after I run it, I should have scrollable elements here in this array, right? So there's two items. I think the second one is the actual, is the one that we want, right? So it's this part here. It's the second one. So we can test this by just using the scrollable elements. Can do a test here. The one, let's scroll by top 10, so it's gonna scroll 10 pixels from the top. So I just run, yeah, so that's indeed the one. Let's do 100. Yeah, as you can see, this is the one we want. So yeah, we can use this code here to just scroll through the page. So let's do this in our VS Code. Okay, so first to start, let's do our auto scroll function. So we can call here await auto scroll. So let's create the function. It's an async function called auto scroll that we're gonna pass the page, and this is gonna return a promise because at some parts I need to wait, right? So I need to return a promise. Resolve. So yeah, so it's gonna return a new promise, and here inside, first I'll paste the code that we just created. So this is the code to get the scrollable elements. I'm not sure why it's only fine here, but let's scrollable elements equals 8 here actually. So yeah, get all the scrollable elements. It's the first step, and after that we need to make actually the scroll behavior, right? So the first part is get scrollable elements on the page. Second part is like scroll, right? So to scroll we can create a timer like this, set interval, then pass an arrow function, then yeah, we should use the element number 1. So this one is the one that we found is actually where the scroll bars are. It's the first one. It's not sorry, it's the second one. It's not the first one. So yeah, so inside here we can do const scroll height equals elements dot scroll height. Then we can do the actual scrolling, which is scroll by function dot, and then some amount of distance. We can maybe use a fixed distance of 100. So then here's distance. So then we can also keep track of the total height that we have scrolled so far, which should start at 0, and yeah, after we scroll we always increment total height plus the distance that we've just scroll, right? Then we can log what we just did. So console log scrolled, total height, and then the current scroll height. It's scroll, sorry, this is the scroll height that we're trying to match, right? So this is the scroll height of the element. Once the total height becomes bigger than the scroll height, then we finished, right? So we can just do if total height is greater or equal scroll height. Then we can call clear interval with the timer that we declared here. So this is how we destroy the timer. So the set interval is just gonna keep calling this function. It's gonna keep calling, and once we call clear, it finishes, right? So then we can call destroy the timer, and then I call resolve true to return the promise, right? And then after here there's the set interval finishes, I need to put the delay here. The delay can be any amount of seconds that I want. I'll use 100, so 100 milliseconds should be enough. So const delay equals 100, and yeah, that's it. That should scroll the page. So let's maybe add a wait delete 5 seconds before calling the scroll, and then let's see if it works. Yeah, open the modal. Oh, R is not defined. I forgot the query selector all. So inside here we should do, yeah, we actually need to run this. Sorry, I kind of forgot this part. To run JavaScript inside the page, we need to call page.evaluate. So this is will actually be await page.evaluate, and then this part here. I think this can just be a function. So it's gonna evaluate, run JavaScript, and then it's gonna try to resolve the promise. then it's gonna go back to evaluate. Yeah, I think this should work. But inside here we should also do like const r equals documents dot query selector all, and then this to find all the elements on the page, and then after that we of course filter by the scrollable elements that have enough uh, that have enough content to scroll, which is bigger than the visible area, and then that should work, I think. Let's test. Yeah, go here, wait 5 seconds, and let's see if it works. Yeah, pretty much works. So yeah, that's nice. We have an auto scroll. It's gonna scroll all the way to the rest of the page, and then it just stays there because we didn't do anything after that. So I'm just gonna close. So yeah, now we need to get all the links for the page and then scroll the rest of the stuff, right? When this part is done.